Growing criticism has been directed at Rachel Reeves after her economic policies were hailed as a model for recovery has started to falter due to mounting pressure. We will go into great depth on the Chancellor's deadly maneuver in today's video. Additionally, we will cover some of the most recent national headlines. To join our rapidly expanding community, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and for a brief update, please visit British.com or click the link in the description to view our new on-air t-shirts. Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, is. Rachel Reeves' scam is coming under increasing fire after her economic initiatives, which were once hailed as a roadmap for recovery, started to show signs of weakness. Political and business circles are alarmed by Labour's massive expenditure review, known as Phase 2, with analysts pointing to disturbing parallels to the austerity policies of former Conservative Chancellor George Osborne. John Jones, the Chief Secretary to the Treasury, is leading the review. Presenting itself as a zero-based evaluation of all government expenditures, it promises brutal prioritization and a break from conventional budgeting. Jones has stated unequivocally that, given important labor issues like NHS waiting lists, no line of spending is untouchable. Unprotected agencies including local councils, welfare, and the judiciary are preparing for significant cuts to funding for early education and law enforcement. Economists caution that business confidence has crashed, inflation is declining more slowly than anticipated, and the pound's declining performance indicates a growing fatigue among foreign investors as a result of Reeves' decision to increase daily spending while front-loading funding to the NHS and education. With a net 26% of Britain's top CFOs reporting a more pessimistic outlook, D's most recent survey shows a sharp reversal in sentiment. This is an alarming shift unseen since the turbulence of 2023, and the economic uncertainty has been exacerbated by Reeves's decision to raise £40 billion in taxes, which includes an increase in national insurance critics, including Conservative. We've witnessed a dampening of the animal spirits and with it a dampening of growth, according to Chancellor Mel Stride, who also accused Labour of taxing the daylights out of firms, adding fuel to the fire. The CBI's chairman, Rupert SS., accused Reeves of undermining confidence in the business community by pointing out a £22 billion fiscal gap that was discovered during the budget and asserting that Labour's efforts to close it have left companies reeling and have caused yet another hole in their faith in the government. Despite these difficulties, SES cautioned during a recent trip to China, Reeves reaffirmed her fiscal policy, dismissing criticism that her policies are non-negotiable and promising to take additional measures if necessary to comply with budgetary regulations. Meanwhile, Sir Keir Starmer is trying to change the subject by emphasizing artificial intelligence, AI, and big plans like constructing a supercomputer in the UK, but even supporters acknowledge that the economic challenges make this difficult to sell. Health Secretary West Streeting has called for patience, but the cracks in Labour's economic vision are becoming harder to ignore as inflation fears subside and there are signs of summer growth. Some analysts believe that light is on the horizon, but the question still stands: will Labour's gamble pay off, or has Rachel Reeves made a fatal political blunder as the Chancellor gets ready to address these concerns in an upcoming speech? There is a growing clamour for Labour to change its current direction. A Liberal Other News Democrat run for office, Reeves's audacious economic experiment is on the verge of a bombshell that might completely change the political landscape. After prohibiting employees from using the word Christian name in a new language guide published by Sutton Council in the capital, London Council has caused a stir. South officials advised staff to adopt alternative phrases after warning that the term might offend people. According to the 13-page guidance, references to religion should be omitted unless they are specifically addressed elsewhere in the guide, and first names, given names, or forename must be used instead. Words that are no longer allowed include calling people under 30 youngsters, or those over 65 pensioners, as these are offensive. Lively and experienced. According to the Sun report, diversity experts put up the guide and caution against using phrases that are out of date or wrong because doing so might reinforce prejudice, discrimination, and bias. According to the presentation, however, free speech Tory peer, the new Tory peer and founder of Union. According to Toby Young, this is extreme awakened hypersensitivity. I have never encountered a Jew, Muslim, or atheist who was upset by the Christian name, he added. Only a few months ago, Sutton was not the only London council to enforce stringent language guidelines for residents and employees. In the capital, Hackney Council, after releasing a 17-page handbook on gender-neutral terminology for staff members, North East provoked uproar. Hackney's pamphlet bans the use of Sir Madam in formal correspondence, replacing it with more inclusive terms such as Dear Colleagues or Dear Council Taxpayer. Traditional titles such as Mr. Miss Mrs. and Ms. were also replaced by the gender-neutral MX, while Expected Mothers is being replaced by People Who Become Pregnant, while just weeks later it emerged that activist councils will soon be able to change entire street names, linked to the British Empire or slave trade after a quiet Labour walk back. On local authority powers, the decision came after a series of attempts by town halls to cut ties with historical figures linked to the slave trade following Black Lives Matter protests in 2020, including a $100,000 spend by Haringey Council to rename Black Boy Lane to Lewes Lane after poet and racial equality campaigner John Lewes. A Sutton Council spokesman said, "This is guidance and not policy. We have not banned the word Christian. Our inclusive language guide has been created in collaboration with our staff to help them support our balanced and diverse community. Most forms that Brit residents are asked to complete refer to first name and surname, so our guide reflects common usage." Today, last but not least, GB News royal correspondent Cameron Walker claims that Meghan and Harry are having a hard time figuring out where they fit in the world. He asked if they plan to work in humanitarian aid or as media entertainment personalities. The Duke and Duchess of Outro Sussex are struggling to strike a balance between their roles in entertainment and humanitarian work. As Family Ties actress Justine Bateman criticized the couple's appearance at La wildfire rescue efforts, labeling them disaster tourists, I believe they are currently straddling those two different worlds and attempting to find their place within them. If you haven't already, please make sure to like this video and let me know what you think about the topics we covered in today's video in the comments box below. For more British stuff, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and goodbye.